I knew we were doomed the second Mom announced. Pack your bags, we're going on a family trip. My heart sank. Don't get me wrong, I love traveling, but traveling with my family? That's like stepping into a live comedy show where everyone else is performing, and you're just the unpaid audience. We started bright and early Friday morning. Dad, who fancies himself the ultimate navigator, immediately ignored Google Maps. I've got a shortcut, he said. 30 minutes later, we had circled the same gas station 3 times, honking cars trailing behind us like we were in some bizarre parade. Emma, my little sister, started chanting, "We're lost! We're lost!" Max, my little brother, had already spilled juice on the floor in his lap, somehow also drenching my sneakers. Dad was still proudly smiling, as if the chaos were his own creation of art. Mom sighed like she had aged 20 years in 5 minutes. By the first rest stop, chaos had fully set in. Mom tried to restore order with snacks, but healthy snacks meant carrots, celery sticks, and those weird organic cookies that taste like cardboard. Max, ever the disaster magnet, knocked the entire bag onto the floor. I slipped on a carrot while trying to grab a cookie, crashing into the cooler and knocking over a bottle of soda. Emma laughed so hard she cried. Dad nearly drove off laughing, and Mom's glare could have killed a small army. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, we arrived at the hotel. Dad announced our family suite with a lake view. I peeked out the window and saw a puddle in the parking lot. A tiny puddle. Emma immediately started taking selfies, calling it our scenic masterpiece. Max jumped in, soaking his sneakers. Dad looked proud. Mom muttered, "Never again." Dinner was its own episode. Mom decided she'd order for everyone because she knows best. Dad got something called spicy mystery meat, and was sprinting to the bathroom 10 minutes later. Max refused to eat anything because it wasn't shaped like dinosaurs. Emma insisted the waiter take a photo of her plate for Instagram. And me? I tried a salad, only for Max to pour dressing all over me. Tomato massacre. Mom fumed, Dad laughed, Emma plotted her TikTok. The next morning, Dad decided we needed real adventure. Cue the hiking trip. He promised a hidden waterfall that would blow our minds. 3 hours later, we were knee-deep in mud, swatting mosquitoes, and my shoes were lost somewhere in the swamp. Emma screamed at a frog, Max tried to befriend a squirrel, and Mom sat on a rock-eating trail mix like a survival expert. At one point, Dad tripped over a root, grabbed Max, who pulled Emma, and somehow I ended up face-first in mud. Our family chain of muddy zombies slowly crawled back to civilization. After surviving the swamp, Dad thought a pool session would be relaxing family bonding. Max jumped in with the force of a small hurricane, drenching the lifeguard. Emma threw a pool float to rescue him, which hit Dad square in the face. I slipped on the wet tiles, chlorine up my nose, while Mom just stared, muttering, "I am never doing this again." That evening, we attempted a board game. Emma cheated professionally. Max knocked over all the snacks. Dad argued about rules like a constitutional lawyer. I lost my patience and flipped the board. Somehow I won. Emma cried, Dad lectured about rule enforcement, and Max stealthily ate the remaining candy. Perfect chaos. The following day, Dad wanted another scenic adventure. We ended up in a hidden gem town, with 1 gas station, 3 cows, and a judgmental cat. Ice cream was bought to console ourselves. Max promptly dropped it on my shoes. Emma filmed it, calling it the tragic ice cream incident. Dad called it a successful cultural experience. Mom sighed. Later, while driving, Dad miscalculated again and drove down a dirt road that didn't exist on Google Maps, chased by angry goats. Max screamed with joy, Emma filmed it, Dad honked wildly, and Mom quietly wept. Finally, we arrived at a small local fair. Cotton candy, rides, and games. At first it was perfect. Then Max ran into a dunk tank, soaking a stranger. Emma attempted a tightrope walk and nearly fell into the popcorn stand. Dad got stuck in a funhouse mirror maze for 30 minutes. Mom banned all moving games. I tried to film everything, but Max knocked my phone into a funnel cake. The next day, Dad decided to try mini golf. What could go wrong? Everything. Max somehow lost a golf ball in the fountain. Emma's ball rolled into someone else's game. Dad tried a trick shot, fell into the sand trap, and blamed the wind. Mom, as usual, sighed and pretended she was invisible. I laughed so hard I cried. By the last evening, we were covered in mud, sugar, bug bites, and memories. Chaos had followed us everywhere, yet somehow, it was perfect. Despite the tantrums, spills, mosquito attacks, and embarrassing falls, we laughed nonstop. Because that's what family trips are really about: messy, awkward, hilarious moments that turn into stories you'll tell forever. Even now, months later, when someone mentions a family trip, I grin. Dad is plotting the next shortcut adventure. Mom is shaking her head. Emma is looking for puddles to take selfies in. Max? He's probably up to something ridiculous. And hey, if you've survived a family trip like ours, or just laughed along, share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear all the crazy, messy, hilarious moments only family trips can bring. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more wild, awkward, and downright funny stories. You won't believe what happens next.